Okay, now we're recording and it says setting up your meeting for Facebook Live, which means we are probably Facebook Living already.
All right.
So let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. My name is Karen Kag, and I am a licensed Reiki Master Teacher. So I'm all about clearing energy and old blocks and old stuff. However, I'm not very good at clearing out the physical stuff from my house. So that's why we have Shanley tonight, my dear friend and KonMari Method consultant, who is going to help us today. Shanley, introduce yourself for people who may not know.
Hello, I'm Shanley. You want more than that?
No, I want to know what that is in your nose. Tell them what that is in your nose.
Today, I am sporting the aroma ring.
I love that.
It can also be worn in the ear, should one desire that. You could also put it, on your finger or any other place where you might have space. I will say that it's pretty potent. I'm enjoying it. I gave myself a concussion back in October, and so I've been wearing one. It's super convenient. It goes under your mask really well. They come in little packs. I'll show you. I'll open it up so you can see. I just left this one. So there's 8 of them in a pack. They come in just a little individual packet like that. So you can just open them individually. It's super flexible. You can just bend it. See?
That is so cool.
Yeah, you barely feel it. Like you really have to think about not like blowing your nose and blowing it out. It's very light, very scented. So it's not overwhelming. It's just very scented. So there's 2 different scents. This one is the lavender, and then Karen, do you remember what the other one was?
Was it Breathe Again?
We'll figure. I think it might be Breathe Again. Yeah, we'll figure it out and post it in the comments below. But yeah,
you can't add stuff to it yourself, right?
You can actually, if you want to. After you feel like it's not scented enough, you could definitely add more, and you could add other oils. I know Karen Harrison did that the other day with like a Breathe Right strip or something that she
Yeah,
uses.
I think she put Breathe Again or maybe RC or one of those that helps kind of open up your.
Yeah, I think it would be.
That's a great idea.
For allergy, for seasonal situation where you might be stuffy in your nose.
I was just thinking I might need something like to kind of block if I like get to the back of my closet, like, and here's a smelly sock I missed. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and so in which case you might want to put cedar wood on it at that point so that you aren't smelling it, or purification would be great for that. And we'll talk about more about.
We're going to talk about some oil. So just to kind of lay out what we're going to do today. So last week, Shanley gave us sort of an overview of the KonMari method. And this week we want to focus on the first, is it the first step? The first category.
The first
category. Thank you. I couldn't find the word. And as a Reiki practitioner, and also I use these essential oils because they're amazing. So I brought some oils that I wanted to chime in on what I like to use to kind of help. Like she said, once you get your closet cleaned out, cedarwood is really good. This is a whole lot cheaper than lining your closet with cedar. You could just put that on a cotton ball or put it on. Didn't you say you had a client who had some little like cedar?
Yeah, cedar. She had little cedar hearts in her drawers, and she said they don't really smell anymore. I might throw them away. I said, or you could just use this.
And I think you said citronella also works.
And wine quartz, because most people have those around, and you can just cut them into thirds, and then you can just use a little bit of one or a half or whatever you want, and then you can multi-purpose.
Mm-hmm. And I really do. I have this on cotton balls in my closet, just purification, because it takes all the bad smells out. This is what I use on my dryer balls in my dryer.
Yep, and in your shoes, gym bags.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. People who go to the gym.
Yeah, if you're one of those people, yeah.
So, and I'm going to talk about, just as when she gets into this, some of the oils that are good for diffusing, because clothes, that's a big category for me, because I save clothes. I get really attached to them, and my weight fluctuates. Like it has really fluctuated out over the pandemic, and I keep thinking, I'm sure eventually, even though I'm a postmenopausal woman, I'm sure eventually it's going to come back in, but it may not. So I might need like a little bit of release, or I don't know, maybe a little inner child. Oh,
Acceptance, maybe.
acceptance. And well, let me just jump in really quickly before you get started and say something about the emotional
Yeah.
quality of these oils. I don't know if you realize it, but the the sense of smell is closely connected to the limbic part of our brain that rules emotions. And so these oils really do. There's science to back it up. You can go Google it, but there's science to back up that the sense of smell, certain smells can help us release emotions. And so that's what I use them for. I've released a lot trauma life. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. There are a lot that I have used. So um, um, I was thinking about, I do this one a lot, like, cause you have trouble just getting started, like I diffuse
For
motivation.
sure.
If I
Yeah.
feel, yeah, if I'm feeling really stressed about peace and calming.
Mhm.
If I'm not sure, I do clarity. Um, if I just am too tired, I don't feel like doing it or keep going, energy, that's a really good blend for that.
Yep.
Um, there are so many that I could talk. In fact, Shanley's got like a list of 50. We'll post that in the event later, but go ahead
Yeah.
and get started, Shanley. I'll shut up, but I
Yeah.
love the oils. They help me so much.
Me too. Yeah. And so joy is a great one too for bringing for at the beginning of a session. And so I didn't really say anything, but I'm Shanley Tanaik. I'm a professional organizer and I'm a certified KonMari consultant. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the KonMari method and how you can apply that to your home to help bring some organization and some sense and some less stress to your home during these holiday times. And I'm just going to share my screen real quick so that I can, so let me,
Forgot to make you a
yeah,
co-host. Now you
that's
can.
okay. Sorry, we were having some technical difficulties before we started. So we're a little behind. So thank you for your patience. So right now, can you see this, Karen?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, great. So right now this is me and all my details. I'm a member of NAPO and all those other good things. Go back to video 1 from last week if you want to know more of the details. So I'm going to remind you that what we're going to do is we're going to go through the 6 rules, and they are to commit yourself to tidying up, imagine your ideal lifestyle, finish discarding first, tidy by category, not by location. You're going to follow the right order, and then you're going to ask yourself if it sparks joy. And so, because we're going to tidy by category, not by location, the first category is clothing, actually. And so, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your home and you're going to take everything out of the closet. You're going to take everything out of your drawers, out of your car, out of your gym bag, out of your basement, out of your laundry hamper, out of your washer and dryer. So it helps if you have all of your laundry done first before you start a tidying session. And then you're going to put all of that either on the floor. It's better if you put it on your bed. Number one, ergonomically, it's higher up, so it's easier for you to sort through those things. And number two, it acts as a motivator because you have to get it done so that you can go to bed tonight, right? So the idea is it's the shock value, right? And so you're supposed to be overwhelmed. You're supposed to be, okay? That's the idea of gathering everything. And Marie has a really particular rule. And if you want to read more about it, you can go into the life-changing magic of tidying up, about if you forget things during the clothing category, like you just don't go clear out your hall closet with all your coats in it, they need to be discarded at the end of the session. If there are things that you forgot to go through during the clothing session and pile them during the piling part, you have to discard them. So it's not going to be one of those, oh, I'll just go through that one later. It's supposed to be a shocking situation. Okay. That's the point of making you realize that you do have 20 coats, even though 5 of them were in the hall closet, but you had 5 over here and 3 in your car and 2 in a container down underneath your bed. And then once you have them all together, you're like, oh gosh, I forgot about most of these. And which is what happens. You realize you have 15 black t-shirts and you just didn't know that because you had some in the drawers and one in your gym bag and one at work and one in your car for backup, just in case the baby spits up on you or whatever. And so having them all together in the same place, you're supposed to realize the quantity of what you own. And then that's when you're supposed to start sorting. Okay. And so at that point, you want to go through and figure out how you can make a decision. Okay. And so the idea is that you're supposed to ask yourself if it sparks joy. And the way that you do that, the way I always have a client do that is I have them first pick out their favorite, whatever, their shirt, dress, pair of pants, whatever. And you know, when you pick up that thing that you love wearing, it makes you smile, right? It makes, Marie describes it as zing. It makes your heart lift. And anything that doesn't bring you that zing, it's kind of weighs you down and it makes you feel heavy. And if you feel that heaviness, that you're supposed to consider getting rid of it. And so the idea is during a session with me, I'm not here to convince you to get rid of things. I'm here to convince you to keep things with purpose, okay, with confidence. And if you're not keeping it with confidence, you should consider why you're keeping it. Okay, so that top that you're wearing, Karen, we're going to pretend that that's your favorite top. Okay, and everything that you're going to handle is going to be based on how you feel, evaluating based on that top. Okay, and if it doesn't make your heart feel like that top makes your heart feel, you're going to think about it. You're going to think about keeping it. Okay, and you're going to get through things pretty quickly once you get the hang of your favorite. Okay, so that's why I always try and find the favorite first. And it could be a couple of things. You know, it could be your favorite scarf or whatever. I don't care what your favorite is. And I usually hang it like on the wall or on the door or whatever. So that way it's visual and it's also physically available to you. So that way you can go touch it again in case you're getting a little flustered and you're not, I forget, you know, I can't tell, you know, if this black t-shirt makes me feel like this one that I'm wearing or not. Go touch it again, get that sense of zing and joy and make your heart happy again. And then go back to that third black t-shirt and decide if you really need it or not. And then, so at that point, you start separating, you start with your bins. And so you have trash, you have discard, well, trash and discard together. And that's going to be anything that's ripped or torn or stains or disrepair that you're not going to take the time to fix. You're going to throw those away. Okay. And then the second one is going to be donate. And then there's going to be a third pile, which is keep. Okay. Sometimes there's a fourth pile, which is maybe, and that's okay. At some point, the maybe pile gets really small because you start getting into the groove of things, right? And you really start understanding what zing is about for you. And it's different for everyone. There are no two clients that are the same. Just before we started talking, Karen, you said clothing is kind of a big thing for me. I'm sentimentally attached to my clothes. And that's common, right? So then what happens is we start dividing up those types of clothes and we put those in the fifth category. So we've got clothing, books, paper, Komono, and Sentimental. And you work through the categories in that order on purpose because these are the hardest ones. This is the thing you're most emotionally attached to. This is your mom's hand-me-down whatever that you got when she passed away, or your dad's whatever, right? Your grandma's or your great aunts, all those things that you keep because you can't quite figure out what to do with them, as compared to just the t-shirt that you're wearing today because it's comfortable, or, you know, it was the first thing you pulled out of your closet or whatever. I love this shirt because I look good in blue and I almost always wear blue whenever I'm on video. And so I have 3 or 4 different blue shirts, but they're all different and they're all different hues and shades and values and tones of blue. And so I feel confident keeping it because it makes me feel good. I look good in it and I get compliments when I wear it. And that's another way to evaluate what you're going to keep. Is if people say things to you like, what is that you're wearing? That's maybe a no that it's not the right color for you, right? And so, so another way to figure that out, like your eyes are a great blue, right? And that shirt brings out the blue in your eyes. And so it's one of those things, or the green in your eyes, or whatever color your eyes are. And so if you have a shirt that brings out the color of your eyes, people are going to compliment you on it. And so you're going to be more likely to wear that shirt because, of course, compliments make us feel good. Some people are averse to them, and that's a different issue, a different thing to deal with, I should say. And so But generally the reason that you wear things is because you look good in them. And so when you hold, another way to figure out what you're going to keep is to hold two pieces of clothing of different hues to your face. Okay. And so you've got a light yellow shirt and a bright yellow shirt, and or blue or green or whatever color it is. And one is going to look completely different on you. So you take one away, cover your face with it, physically go to the mirror, have light, it's better if you can see natural lighting, but any lighting is fine. Hold something in front of your face and then take the other one and hold it in front of your face. You will absolutely see your skin tone change. Okay. Do it again. Go back and forth a few times. You're going to discover that light green is not your color and hunter green is absolutely your color. And so this all depends on what color your hair is, what color your eyes are, what color your skin tone is, what color makeup you're wearing. And of course, those things change, enhancement happens, right? And as you age, your colors are going to change as well. So if you got your colors done when you were 20 and you're 70, you might need, unless you have the same hair color, you might need to consider altering the choices that you make, usually to a lower color tone of that. Okay. So a lighter version of whatever it was you wore with darker hair, right? So people who have light and light can get away with light colors, but most people don't look good in black because it's too harsh. Okay. It's too much of a contrast between your skin. That's why dark blue and chocolate brown, charcoal gray are pretty much perfect colors for anyone. So
You're also a personal stylist, aren't you?
I am a certified personal stylist
I
as
hear
well.
that coming out as you're talking about that. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
so I'm trained to be able to do various different things when I'm working with you in your closet, because I'm a professional organizer, I'm a KonMari consultant, and I'm a certified personal stylist, and I do essential oils. So what I typically will do at the beginning of a session is I will bring in my iTovi machine, which is a bio scanner, a feedback scanner. And so you hold it in your hand and it does a little energy reading on your body today. Okay. And so like I did mine yesterday and I needed tummy jives. I ate something that was a little yucky. And so my belly was not so good. I needed neroli. I needed purification. It gives you 10 different oils that are best for you. And so what I'll do is I'll bring a diffuser with me and then I'll iTovi my client, and then we'll figure out of the oils that I've brought with me, which one they want. I'll have them smell a couple of different oils. And of course, oils are a chemical reaction to your senses, as you were saying. And so they're so emotionally connected to your body. The reason that you love Valor is not the reason that I dislike Valor, but they are connected emotionally, right, to two different things. And also your skin reacts differently to different oils. The way you react to that is different than the way I react to that. And that's they've actually developed oils. What's the one that they developed at conference last year that actually changes? It's meant to smell.
Divana.
Devon, that's right. And so, but even if you were to put cedarwood on your arm and I were to put cedarwood on my arm, because my chemicals in my body are different than yours, I'm going to diffuse that differently than you're going to diffuse it. And so for that reason, I bring a whole wide variety of oils with me so that the client can choose the one they want, right? That's the goal, is that the client is supposed to be happy. And of the large kit that I bring, there's always one or two that they want. And sometimes we change it up during the day, but I always have lavender because most people are okay with lavender if they can't find something else that they want. So we'll start by diffusing something. I'll iTovi them and then I'll diffuse them and then I'll let them pick an oil that speaks to them. So at that point, what happens is you've got your whole pile of clothes on your bed, preferably, and you start with the joy check. Okay, it's called the joy check when you touch it, and you're supposed to touch every single item, because I always have clients that say, oh no, I went through that closet the other day. And I'm like, okay, well, we're just going to touch them anyway. And they're like, oh yeah, I forgot, I don't want this one. And oh yeah, this one doesn't really fit me. And oh yeah, this color is not good. And so because I've given them some guidance up until this point about coloring and about body shape and about size and style. And did you know of a thing called variance? Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Yeah, so variance means that this top could be on the shelf in the same size. It could all be size whatever is on the tag, but it could be this arms, this shoulder seam could be 2 inches wider, or the arm could be 2 inches longer, up to 2 inches, more or less is considered the same size.
Wow.
People, that's not the same size. That's two sizes different. So because you take a whole stack of size whatevers from the shelf and you try all those jeans on, there's going to be at least one of those that's not going to fit you because of variance.
Oh,
So it sometimes behooves you to try a couple of different of the same size of things if you're having an issue with one. And also, jeans are not made the same. The rise from the top of
that's true.
the I'm going to stand up from this part of your body here down to your crotch. That's called the rise. And that is different on every pair of jeans. And your rise is different than my rise. And so you can wear those jeans, but I can't wear them because they're different. They're just not made for my body. So don't take it personally when you go into the store and no jeans fit me. It's so hard to find jeans because those jeans are not sized for you. They have not been cut in that style.
That's true because my butt is kind of a bubble.
Mhm.
And so that's like taking up extra space. I mean, just because my butt does
Absolutely.
this.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so imagine, and there's a whole thing you can go into about pockets on the back of jeans and how they make your butt look flat or not flat or bubble butt or whatever. We'll get into that on another thing.
That's
Google, YouTube that. There's all great videos about bedazzling your bottom to make your bottom look bigger, and pocket placements, vertical versus angled, and high versus low, and
I
it's
never thought
great.
of that. Hmm.
Yeah. And so because I'm giving somebody all these tips, it's easier for them to go through their pile of clothes because they discover all of a sudden that light blue is not their color. And every single time they come to light blue, they literally just take it and put it in the discard pile, in the donate pile.
That
They
makes
don't even have to think about it anymore. So we start with sort of guidelines to be able to make the rest of the process go more smoothly, because it's just so much easier when we've gone to the mirror and you've seen light blue make you look washed out and pale, and royal blue makes you look vibrant and happy, right? So no more light blue, only royal blue. Yay. Okay, gone. Same thing with most other light colors for me. I'm olive complected. I have dark hair, dark eyes. So for me, light colors, not so much. I need jewel tones. For you, because you have light, 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 you're going to look better in lighter colors. That's about as dark of a color as you're going to want to go, unless you go bold, bold, bold and go red, right? And you look fantastic in red.
Thank
So
you.
you. And so for you, you can get away with light colors in a place where I can't, right? It's not like I just don't even have them in my closet because I've learned it's not a good choice for me. All of, like, you can kind of see the variation of teal going on here.
Uh-huh.
I'm here and you're here. Okay.
That makes
But
sense.
you can also get away with this mid range. So once I teach you all these little lessons, it makes the session go so much faster. And
So
so
I'm sorry, I have to interject that your session would pay for itself over and over and over to keep you from buying things that just, I mean, just to help with the help knowing what to buy.
absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely.
you would
And
save
so
money. You would save
that's
money for people.
yeah. And so that's the goal, is the process of elimination for myself. Like, I don't want you to have to hire me every single time your house gets a little disorganized. I want to teach you how to manage it yourself, what to think about, what to think when you put something down on a counter. Instead of just leaving it, you should think, oh, this thing has a home. I need to put it in its home, not over there. Okay. And that's how clutter occurs, and clutter builds up because you don't have a home for something and you don't continue to put it in its home. Okay, that's it. That's as simple as organization is. Everything has a home, put everything in its place. That's it. And that happens with your closet as well. And so once we go through your closet, I'll teach you how to fold. And so the goal with folding is to make everything into a rectangle. And it actually is really quite simple. Some people fold their shirts this way already, where they have, they go into the arms in like that, and then you fold up. The difference between what Marie does is she wants you to be able to stand it up at the end. And then what she'll do is she has you do file folding inside your, standing it up in the drawer like that instead of going flat. Because think of how many things you have in a pile. Let's just pretend this catalog is a pile of shirts, right? You're never going to wear these shirts right here, right? You're always going to wear these shirts or pants or shorts or whatever, because these, number one, they've been smushed. They're wrinkled now because they have a bunch of other things on top of them. So if you were to file fold them and stand them up like this, now you can see everything when you pull out the drawer. You can see all of your colors, which of course, I happen to like rainbow order. And so mine always go from white to black, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. You don't have to do it that way, but that's how I organize it because it makes my heart happy and I love it. So, and I tend to be pretty convincing to, other people to get them into that Roy G. Biv. So the idea is to be able to leave 80% more of to only fill your closet and your drawer and your space up to 80%. That way you can leave space to bring new things in, though realistically you would be on a 1 in, 1 out process by the time you get to 80% capacity. If you're not at 80% capacity, you might want to be 1 in, 2 out, 1 in, 3 out, 1 in, 4 out, whatever number works for you to get you to about 80% capacity of your space. And that way, if something new and exciting, you walk by something new and exciting in your perfect color at the store or online or wherever, because nobody's going to the stores now. Somebody sends you a gift and you just love it. Then you have just a little bit of space before you may need to get rid of something. And so file folding allows you to be able to have that nice, pretty curve at the top too, so that when you're looking at your drawers, everything is lined up like this. And all you see is that curve instead of seeing that, which is messy, right? It's you see a bunch of stuff here. Whereas here you see 2 things. And so you want to fold everything and then place them in your drawer like this so that you can see just the 2 rolled ways here. And that's this part of the folding that you're seeing here. And so there's tons and tons and tons of videos on how to roll like Marie Kondo does on YouTube. And at some point I'll make my own and we'll link them, but just go.
Since you brought that up, if you haven't already, please go to YouTube. I'll put a link. I think I did put a link to her YouTube channel. Yeah. Go and subscribe so you can keep up with what's going on when she adds.
Yeah, and the fun part about that is, some of you may or may not know this, but I didn't know this, but you have to have 100 people subscribe to your webpage before you can customize your URL. And I want to have my URL be Organizing with Shanley, which is the name of my YouTube channel, but I can't do that until I have 100 subscribers. So
go subscribe. Do it now.
Yeah.
Pause this and go do it now.
Do it now. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So that's what you're going to do. And so everything is going to fold into the middle to make a rectangle. So this shape right here is what you're trying to achieve. And then the bonus tip that I'm going to give you right now is, you see that she's folding things in thirds here. Okay. If your drawer is this small, thirds works really well. If your drawer is this big, thirds doesn't fill the space. And what happens is now you're taking a thickness space, whereas you could be taking up height space. So instead of folding it in thirds, fold it in half. Okay. And so that way you're customizing this technique to your space. It does not have to be exactly like this. I personally don't like folding my arms into the front. I like folding mine to the back. It's just something I prefer. Okay. And so I teach my folding technique, my interpretation of the Marie Kondo folding technique just a little differently. But like if you had a hoodie, you would fold the hoodie down first, because then that gives you a flat part of the rectangle here, right? And now it's out of the way. And then you start with the arms at that point. Okay. Same thing with dresses or skirts or whatever. Fluffy, light things you want to hang, they want to be hung, is how Marie puts it, because everything she imbues with character and she personifies things. And so the idea is that things will let you know how they want to behave, because if you're trying to put a silk shirt and trying to stand it up like this and it keeps falling over, it doesn't want to be folded. It wants to be hung.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So what other questions do you have for the clothing category?
I do have a question, and it's about my weight. So sometimes I touch something and go, this sparks so much joy because it reminds me of when I was a size 10.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And I think I'm going to get into it again. Should I just say, let it go, and then d- when I lose the weight, that I say I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to lose weight?
Yeah, so we're going to start with you could do it instead of you should do it because we don't like to should on ourselves, right? No shoulding on ourselves. And so the idea there is twofold, okay? If it really does bring you happiness and joy every time you look at it and you have a great memory of that particular time or that item or whatever, makes you smile, totally keep it. There's nothing wrong. If you have space, okay, if you have space and it fits your future goals, that's the whole point is most people connect with me because they don't have space. I don't have enough space. I have, it's not that they have too many things, it's that they need more space. Okay. The only way to make more space and stay in the space you have is to get rid of things, right?
Right.
So if you have enough space and it makes you happy, feel free to keep it. However, the second thing is if it doesn't make you happy and you're guilty, or you feel a sense of dread, or you feel obligated, or you feel reminded that you need to be down 10 pounds or whatever N number is, that's where it doesn't spark joy. That's where it's weighing you down. So it's your choice, and I have the in 10-pound closet. That's where the maybe pile almost always starts as well, in 10 pounds. And then the maybe pile, the longer you get through your very large pile, the more you go through it, the smaller the maybe pile gets because you start feeling committed to your goal. And that's what we start the session with is what is your goal? Are we trying to make more space? Are we trying to fit Karen into a new career? Are we trying to get Karen into more professional clothing, less professional clothing? Did you
That's
just
a good
retire?
point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
what is your goal? What are
I'm
we
sorry, I
working
gotta
for?
point out that transformation oil.
Absolutely.
Really, a lot of times when you're doing something like this, you're trying to transform your life
You
into.
are.
That's a
So
good point, Shanley. I hadn't thought about that.
yeah. So people come to me during times of transition, times of change, right? They're transitioning from one stage to another in their life. Sometimes it's career oriented, or sometimes they're literally moving, or sometimes somebody moved out of the home and now they're an empty nester, or they just got to the point where it's enough. They're fed up, right? They're ready. And I call it ready with capital READY. I'm ready, right? Okay, I'm just ready for my space to reclaim my space. And so the first thing I always ask is, what's the goal?
Okay.
And if your goal is to look professional and get more clients, then what we're going to do is we're going to look at all your clothes in a way to make that happen.
That makes sense. As opposed to, I'm ready to retire and I want to be more comfortable. Yeah.
And I don't need suits anymore.
Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
I don't need professional business clothes anymore. You might keep a couple of things, and you should, because you're going to probably get invited to something and need to dress up a little bit. But think of all of the people that you're going to be blessing or honoring or helping out, whatever your word is, depending on your spiritual status. With the things that you're going to donate. And that's really sometimes a big motivator for people, especially in this day and age where there's so many people who are in need right now because of the pandemic. And people have lost their jobs, people have lost their homes, people have lost. And you have all of this extra and you don't want to let it go. Reframe that thinking of how you're going to help somebody else move forward with their goals because you're donating something.
That's
People
a really
don't,
good point.
people will go to Goodwill or wherever and buy things to help move themselves forward, right? So you can be, and if you're donating to a women's shelter or a homeless shelter or whatever your thing is, a church closet, a high school. I mean, there's a lot of clothing and food pantries at high schools now for homeless teenagers. And for moms that are in high school and things like that, they need maternity clothes too.
Yeah.
There's so many ways that you can honor other people by paying it forward with the things that you just aren't using anymore and are not working to get you towards your goal.
Yeah.
So that's it. And you keep thinking about that through all of the categories. is this little, whatever, working me towards my goal? Yes, this is, because this allows me to go exercise and also listen to podcasts at the same time, which educates me while I'm taking self-care of my body. So yes, I'm absolutely keeping this.
I don't even know what that was.
Yeah, is
Oh, are we still doing the PowerPoint, or should we stop sharing the screen?
I think we're done at this point, but I wanted to leave this picture up just so that people could see it, but I'm happy to stop at this point. I think that it's important that people know that they can get these resources for free online anywhere they want. So, but they can also reach out to me. I've got them as well.
Yeah, no, because you really do, to me, the difference between hiring you, and do you price by like session, or do you price by hour, or how do you price?
So I'm by the hour. I'm typically $75 an hour, and I get paid by the day. And so you don't have to commit in advance to a bunch of sessions. If you want to buy a package, you absolutely can, and then there's a discount. And you can reach out to me about how much you want to do for that, how many hours you want to do for that. Let's put it that way. And but it's typically $75 an hour, so that way people can just
really reasonable.
Committed. It's very reasonable. There's
and
people.
You can do it on Zoom too, right?
I absolutely. The client I helped on Friday was virtual, and I'll tell you, she started the session saying, "I'm not really sure how much this is going to help because I pretty much think I have all the answers." And the last thing that she said to me was, "I'm so glad I did this because I definitely did not have all the answers, and you gave so many tips and tricks." And so when I emailed her a couple of days later, because she had a wedding dress, and I wanted to gather some wedding dress resources for her to donate for Hope for Angels and things like that. And so she emailed me back and she said, "I'm just so glad you had so many tips and tricks, and I'm even using it in my kitchen now. I pulled something out of a drawer and I was like, nope, getting rid of that." So like you said, this is something that you can use for the future. And that's the goal, is to, process of elimination for me.
I was still thinking of some other oils like humility.
Yeah, that's the perfect oil for that situation.
And gratitude. Thank you. Yeah, seriously.
Exactly.
No, seriously, because usually when someone is starting to think like, oh, okay, I'm using myself as an example. Let's be honest.
Okay.
When I got to the point like, oh my God, it's overwhelming. And I think when I reached out to you the first time, and this is why we started doing this, is because I didn't even know where to start. I felt guilty. I mean, there's all this stuff, and each one of us is different. And as a professional, also, you have ideas and resources, like, hey, donate it here. Did you think about that? I mean, because I don't do this. All I do is make more stuff. I'm really good at that, but that's your job. I mean, this is your area of expertise. So
yes. And when you hire me, this is a judgment-free zone. I'll ask you questions, but I'm not judging you. That's not my job. My judgment is to help you and give you answers and help you understand how to move forward towards your goal.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Sorry for buzzing.
That's all right. Gosh, have we been going for
yeah. So we have to stop, but we wanted to remind people about the catalog, the Young Living catalog, that has only stuff that you can get during the holidays. And so you can look online for this. Karen will have her member information, and I'll have mine as well. So you can just look online.
I was just thinking that thing that's on the cover, those little trees that you put the oil on, like that would be perfect in the closet.
Exactly, to use those. Exactly. Yeah. En español también. So you've got a whole bunch of fun stuff like this little lava bead necklace and bracelet that I'm wearing. They have a new one this year. Oh, and they came out with those cute little.
Oh, I know. I wanted those diffuser earrings.
Yeah. And so, but they have an aqua version of this. Oh, and so here's the aqua version. But one of the things I wanted to point out about, you can scent your clothes in the laundry, and you can put your oils on your dryer balls, right? And so I actually use citronella on my clothes, because then when I go outside, it's like a natural bug repellent. I live in Florida. There's bugs. Okay? But you could also put like lavender on your sheets when you're washing them, so you can have a calmer, peaceful night as well. So don't forget that you can you can use your clothes as diffusers as well.
Because I don't use any synthetic or artificial scented anything anymore. So the dryer sheets, which are one of the most toxic things you can use, I didn't know that, but they are. So yeah,
Cancer
I use,
causing, they've been proven to cause cancer.
yeah.
Dryer sheets.
So, and then,
Yeah.
and I don't wear perfume anymore, but you can scent your clothes, or that's why I love that diffuser jewelry, because
Yeah.
I'm my own diffuser the way I talk. Yeah.
That's right.
So,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway.
So ask us any questions that you have. We'll answer them. Go below. How should we wrap up, Ms. Karen?
Tell us what we're going to do next week.
Oh, okay. Next week is going to be 2 categories because we've got 5 sessions. And so the first one was the intro, then we've got clothing. The next session is going to be on books and paper because it's very similar.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Shanley. I appreciate you so much. And I'm going to figure out how to stop recording, I hope.
Yeah, and we'll post this in my YouTube channel.
Oh, you know what? I couldn't figure it out last time. I think I just stopped the thing. That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.